In a worrying development, the UK government's former net zero czar, Conservative MP Chris Skidmore, has urged ministers to halt the development of the Rosebank oil field in the North Sea. This is because approval of the project could undermine climate leadership and the government's ambitious net zero goals. Rosebank could potentially produce 500 million barrels of oil, emitting carbon dioxide equivalent to 56 coal-fired power plants. Chris Skidmore warns that approval could not only lead to an increase in carbon emissions, but could also lead to competition for critical supply chains for renewable energy production, further impeding progress. To make matters worse, approval of Rosebank could entail a financial loss for the UK taxpayer through an estimated £3.75 billion of tax breaks and incentives, far more than the estimated £4.1 billion. A plurality of politicians have also spoken out against the project, from the Conservative Party to Labour, the Liberal Democrats, and the Green Party. This unprecedented show of unity can surely be leveraged to convince the government that approval of Rosebank would be politically and economically untenable. Christopher Skidmore has suggested that, instead of Rosebank, the government should invest resources in energy efficiency, rooftop solar, onshore wind and other forms of clean energy supply. This would enhance UK's energy security, without derailing the country's net zero ambitions. It is not just the voices of UK politicians that have the government's attention. Over 700 scientists, the International Energy Agency, and the UN Secretary-General have joined forces to call on governments to halt new licenses for oil and gas exploration and development. Tessa Khan, the founder and executive director of Uplift, warned ministers to hear the advice of leading scientists. Approving Rosebank would be a disaster for Britain. Every minute spent talking about Rosebank is a minute not spent scaling up renewables, insulating people's homes and delivering economic opportunity and green industries for communities across the country. The UK government has a unique opportunity to show true leadership concerning the climate crisis and create a more sustainable future. Let's hope they make the right choice and stop the development of a fossil fuel project when they are still in time to do so. How UK officials act now will determine whether their commitments on net zero and environmentalism are taken seriously and remain intact.